Hey everybody, I figured that I should go over the basics of transformations as we've covered dilations and translations so far. And if you haven't covered those, this is still a good introduction into transformations. So to transform a shape or figure means to change it loosely, or not loosely, literally. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to go ahead and fill that in. So it means to change it. Okay, in general, we can change the size, location, direction that a figure is facing. So the shape or figure before the transformation is called the pre-image. So P-R-E, image, or the original. We might label it A. Okay, the shape or the figure after the transformation is called the image or the new. So image. Okay, and we will label this A prime. The little mark here, that notation is called prime, A prime. So if we look at these images below, we can see what's happening from here to here, from A to A prime. It looks like it's just sliding, right? So I'm going to call this a slide. The word for slide is a translation. So translation. If I look at picture B, it looks like they're staring at each other. They're winking at each other. That would be called a flip or a reflection. Okay. The next one, we have C, and it looks like it's kind of turned. So a turn would be a keyword there. And our word for turn would be rotation. The last of the transformations is a dilation. As you can see, it looks like the picture is going from large to small, so dilation. Um, you can call that a grower shrinker, but dilation is what you're looking for there. Think larger or smaller, right? Okay. So some places you could see translations in the real world. Um, walking every day. So walking, playing sports, right? Reflections, your mirror, right? The ocean, if you were to look at that. Rotations, your tires on a car. Okay. Dilations, your pupils in your eyes are a good one. Your camera lens, so your zoom on your phone. Okay. Your heart or your blood vessels dilate too. Okay. So those are some introductions to your dilations or your transformations. Remember, there are four major ones: translation, reflection, rotation, dilation. Okay. Congruence and orientation. These vocabulary words are important. They show up often in transformations. And so congruence refers to whether or not a figure has the same size and shape, okay, after a transformation. Okay. Orientation of the figure refers to whether or not the figure is facing the same direction on a coordinate plane. So figure is what goes in this blank. When you're talking orientation of a figure, we're talking like, does this card flip, right, like that, or does it turn like this? Okay. Orientation of the vertice refers to the order in which the vertices are labeled clockwise or counterclockwise. So we're talking, does this guy turn? Okay. So now let's go ahead and label these transformations, practice labeling some of these transformations, and that'll help us better identify going forward, okay? So if I look at number one, it looks like if I were to draw a line in the middle of this, it looks like they're facing each other. I'd call this a reflection. or a flip, right? The size, it stays the same. It's congruent. Orientation was of the figure, so it flipped, so this changed. And then the orientation of the vertices actually stayed the same, so they were same. Okay. This one from original to news looks like it literally just slid like this. So we're going to go on number 2 and say that's a slide or a translation. And everything here stayed the same. The figure didn't flip, it didn't turn, and it just literally slid from one space to the other. Okay? All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3 looks like it went from one size to smaller. It shrunk or it shrank. So we're going to call that a dilation because that's the only one that changes size. So dilation. Okay, so the size changed. Okay, the orientation stayed the same. And the orientation of the vertices stayed the same as well. Okay. This one looks like it's kind of upside down, but what happened is it kind of turned like this, right? So that's a turn, and we're going to call that a rotation. Okay, and we can see that the size stayed the same. Orientation of the figure stayed the same, but the vertices changed. Okay, so if we look at these, only one of them changed the size, and that's dilation. Dilation's the only one that changed the size. Translation is the only one where nothing changes, right? And then after that, we have to pay attention to reflections and rotations. The orientations change. So for rotations, the vertices change, and for reflections, the figure changes. Okay? So hopefully that gives you some good insight into the basic of transformations. Remember, the 4 transformations are reflection, translation, dilation, and rotation. And you won't learn them in any particular order, it just depends on your teacher. But these are important for this unit. So hopefully this introduction was helpful for you. And if you need anything, please check out my page for the other videos. And until next time, thanks guys. See you later. Bye-bye.